Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of photography. I'm gonna start saying that another episode of photography instead of another episode of Silkypix Developer History Pro or any kind of brand name, because in more and more I'm gonna head to the basic of photography in general. And before I jump into this tutorial, again, I recommend you to go down to the description and see all the social media links where I am really engaged. You can ask me any question, I will answer you. If you need any help regarding photography, I will try my best to assist you. And of course, please do like and subscribe. Now let's jump into this tutorial. Now in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do a basic black and white photo editing for that matter. And when it comes to, especially comes to portrait black and white. Now, pretty easy. All you have to do, first of all, check your lens. So this is a 35mm f1.4G. So that's a Sigma lens. Clearly you can say that. Now you go to the lens correction and then lens profile. This is blurred out, so I cannot really change the lens profile. You know why? Because it's actually converted to DNG. So anything converted to DNG, generally it blocks you from any kind of crazy change. Doesn't bother me because Sigma art lens, especially the 35mm, is phenomenal. I used it once a long time ago. Now I moved to 18 to 35mm. So anyway, point is that the lens is good. That's done. Because it's going to be a black and white, you have three ways of doing black and white. One, pretty straightforward. You just reduce the saturation and then go from there. That's your base. The second way to convert your black and white is to change your profile to monochrome, just like that, and then go from there. So that's the other way. So I'm going to go back to my DNG, and the third way is to select in Silkypix Developer History Pro the monochrome controller, click anything and it turns into black and white, and you can go from there as well. In my case, I'm going to stick with whatever I have currently right now because it looks very good. Also change monochrome right there, which means everything now work on the monochrome profile. Any kind of color change won't change anything else except the luminance tone. Now we have a base here, guys, so that's a good thing. Then you don't want to waste too much time because first of all you need to know what you want. In my case, I don't want my background sky to be blown out. Instead, I want my foreground, especially the person behind at the front, to stand out. How can we do that? You have a couple of options. First of all, you go to L and boost your low midtone just there. If you don't know where to touch, I'm gonna make it to default and click this plus button at point on our skin because that's where you want to work on. So I'm gonna click it and you can clearly see that it changes. So that means that before I was wrong, now it's right. But I still want to go down a little bit and pull it up just a touch, enough to make sure the person is standing out while the sky remains same. You don't want the sky to be blown out, otherwise you will look ugly. Then move to exposure, head down to highlight, reduce the highlight a little bit, and then go to the color burn HDR, add a little bit, about 22. So what you're trying to do now, you're trying your best to protect your sky because you know it gives a little bit of character while your subject at the front is standing out. Go to the partial correction, select the brush. You wanna brush on the body, nothing else, just the face and the hand in this case. Luminance on the fingers are slightly more brighter than the rest of the body. So I'm gonna make my brush a little bit bigger, big enough to cover most of the space, then add some more feather, then slightly brush, don't do it too much, then immediately click the plus button because you're gonna continue brushing and do the same here. Again, you don't need to be perfect. I insist on that part. You don't need to be perfect. You just do a nice and quick brush. Here as well, I'm gonna do just a little bit quick brush. There you go. Now in this case, I want to see the result. So I'm gonna zoom back a little bit and turn off. Yeah, of course it's too much, so you're gonna reduce it just a touch. Like let's say stick around 10 to 14. So you can see that it's working. So far we are looking good. Any kind of portrait photography, you have to make sure the face and the eye are standing out. It got to be at the front of everything and everything else behind. That's the main priority. So I'm going to brush again on the face, So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make the brush a little bit small, even more smaller. Make sure the screen is big so that I have more working space, and try my best to go through the hair and brush all over again. I'm gonna press plus, make the brush even bigger, another quick brush, add a slight brightness and see where it's taking us. You can see that it changed huge. Now our face is well exposed, which is a good thing. Now I'm going to add another brush, make the brush smaller, in this case actually really small. Brush on the eye, because any kind of portrait, your eye has to be 1, super duper sharp, 2, well exposed. So this is actually a little too much, so I'm gonna press plus and just a touch there, turn off, reduce the lightness, see where it's taking us, and I'm gonna stop just before you can see the difference. So let's see, maybe a little bit less, and I'm going to do exact same thing in this case, just on the eyeball, and add like just 1. But however, I'm gonna add some contrast in this case, turn off, zoom back, let's see where it took us. Check this one out. So I'm gonna show you before and after. So that's our previous photo and that's after. Amazing, isn't it? Now I'm going to go to the monochrome color controller and work on her skin tone, in this case lightness. I will turn off the color filter and you can see that there is a significant change. So only thing I did is to turn off the color filter. So what I can do, I can work on yellow, let's see what it's taking us, and that looks perfect. So that's one thing. And then go to the exposure again, make sure you reduce the highlight all over again, because we don't want to make the sky too white, and add some more, like about 61 on the color burn HDR. So far so good. Now I'm going to turn on the monochrome controller again, turn on lightness, and I want to have her lips a little bit darker than usual. So not that one, let's see on the red scale. So let's see if it's working, if it's giving me something. There you go. Now it's helping us, but of course you can see that it's also affecting the wheel, which doesn't concern me personally speaking, but the lip I want that to be quite strong. And I'm going to reduce the green, trying to make the background as dark as I possibly can. See if the green and aqua doing something. Yes, as you can clearly see, the sky is getting darker. That's exactly what we want, ladies and gentlemen. That is a good news. I'm going to do the same thing with the aqua blue and see how dark I can make the whole thing. And once I'm done, the last few things I'm gonna do is to zoom in quite a bit, let the software render as much as it can. Of course the photo is not sharp, but it's beautiful, guys. I'm in love. That's it. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of softness on her skin tone with the portrait beautification. So that's one thing I like to do. Second thing I like to do is to go to the clarity and reduce clarity just a touch, about -7 should do. Then typical sharpening, I'm gonna stick with default. Obviously I don't really honestly care, because the software does a very good job with automatic sharpening and noise reduction. Can you clearly see that how much her face is standing out? That is formidable, magnifique. I just added demosaic sharpening about 57, zooming in quite a bit, and turn on the portrait beautification all over again. Change the small to large and see if there is any change going on, and then keep going up, let's say about 15, and see if there is any change happening. Looks like it's happening and the face is improving. The subject, the person in the photograph, she is a beautiful person, but for a commercial purpose you need to do certain changes, and this is one of them. And the portrait beautification is helping me a lot on that case. Now I'm going to close it, turn on my partial correction, turn on the brush. I'm gonna add some more brightness on her eye, reduce the lightness a little bit, and see, I'm gonna stop just before you can see the extremeness. So you don't wanna go too extreme, but enough to make the eye popping. When I say popping, I mean beautiful. So check this one out. My goodness, the photo is just beautiful. As a matter of fact, I kind of like this one. The only thing is bothering me is next to the skate you have this like a kind of darkish alignment, which works in this photograph, but usually you don't want to have that. So another way you can get rid of that part is to turn on the partial correction tool, turn on the brush, make the brush bigger a little bit, slightly not too big but big enough to cover the most of the area, and brush over that edge as much as you can, very carefully. Let's see what it gives us. So once you are done, reduce the lightness and then go up from there. As you can clearly see that now we have a little bit of change, which is the good news. Now once it's done, how we are looking good. We're looking really good, and I like it. Change the contrast center to -35. Go to the RGB curve and then add a little bit of black. Go up the mid-tone part, and voila, Madame Monsieur, you have a beautiful portrait. And you know what, because I don't have any kind of contrast on her dress in this part, I could actually crop it. So I'm gonna crop the whole photo as much as I can, of course. And I think I already got the idea what I want to do. I think you got the idea as well. What do you want to do? I think this part is unnecessary, so I could get rid of it, and that looks phenomenal. So I'm going to open it into the next like that, send it over on the other side. I save it by exporting it and click develop, and then I'm going to click reset. It's only going to change on the left photo. Close everything, and I'm going to crop the photo just to make sure that it's almost similar to the next one. And I want you to see the difference from left to right. So on our left we have the original photo, on our right we have the final photograph. How good is it? Check this one out. It changed significantly, and I didn't do any kind of crazy change. It's just a basic black and white. I mean, this is a common practice in any kind of photography, so I didn't do any kind of crazy manipulation. Only thing I did is I work with luminance channel, and that's about it. And another thing I did, probably that portrait beautification to smooth out the skin, but you can clearly see that how much changed it made. Damn. Okay, the photograph looks beautiful. What do you think? If you like this photo, and if you have any opinion about this photo, please comment in the comment section below. And if you like this tutorial, like and subscribe, and I highly recommend you to save this video for future practice, and join me in my social network so that you can ask me questions and I can answer you. Look after yourself. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.